the neighborhood was living in a state of siege.
I will call them occupiers because I don't feel like this was a real protest. I honestly feel like it was a siege.
What happened in Ottawa was an invasion, an occupation.
Clearly, the streets of Ottawa were a danger for me during the occupation, so I was imprisoned for the duration at home.
It was like they were holding us hostage, and the different levels of government that they were trying to negotiate with didn't care about us.
That the treatment of this occupation compared to the treatment of folks who have organized here in the past, particularly Indigenous and BIPOC folks, it was just completely different.
If you took over my house so I couldn't leave, and for 3 weeks you were honking a horn in my driveway and I was stuck inside my house, but you told me that you were shoveling my driveway and mowing my lawn, that wouldn't give you the right to take over my home.
A great and unknown tragedy of the siege is that the homeless and marginalized individuals had little information about what was going on. They were truly alone, scared, and forced out of their familiar surroundings.
This non-democratically elected, self-appointed group of convoy leaders took it upon themselves to suggest they would assume power of our federal government by uniting with select elected MPs.
Is not simply a case of hot tubs and parties and violence confined to a small couple of blocks around Parliament Hill. It was an entire neighborhood that felt cut off.
It felt so personal that they had traveled across the country, parked in front of our houses to assault us daily with sound, set off fireworks in our street near houses and windows, traipse around with hate symbols, and make us feel afraid to leave our home after dark or at all.
Yes, they're partying, they're lighting off fireworks, they think that they own our city, but not everybody believes what they believe, and that not everybody thinks they're right.
The truckers and their supporters pulled in and basically set up camp and behaved as if they owned our streets.
A terrorist is a person who uses violence and intimidation in pursuit of political aims. These convoy participants and their supporters should be treated exactly as such.
I'm used to protests and demonstrations downtown. There have been many protests during the 20 years that I've lived here, but none that I've experienced have been as personally disruptive and disturbing to me and my neighbors as the convoy occupation.